All right, everyone, Mrs. Straub here with the third installment of our Industrial Revolutions unit. First, I'm going to have you answer this question in the Edpuzzle. What were the positive effects of the Industrial Revolution? All right, now we're going to talk about a man named Samuel Slater. In 1789, a 21-year-old bearded Briton who claimed to be a farmer boarded a ship bound for New York. He did so without telling anyone, not even his own mother, and he wore a disguise. His papers said he was a farmer, but he was actually a smuggler. What was he smuggling? In fact, he was smuggling knowledge and intellectual rights. Slater had memorized the details about a mill he had supervised and planned to recreate the mill from memory in the United States. Britain had made it illegal for skilled workers and the machines to leave Britain. Great Britain did not want the ideas of the Industrial Revolution to travel to other countries. They wanted to be the top dog in the world when it came to industrialization. Ideas spread to the United States. Sam Slater spreads textile industry to the U.S. He brought over the industrial spinning machine. Corporations. Businesses owned by stockholders who share in its profits. This is a definition of corporations. If you need to take notes on something like this, write down Sam Slater. What did he do? What is he known for? Why is he making history? Corporations. What's the definition of a corporation? Corporations sell stock to raise money for investment. Building large businesses like railroads required a great deal of money. To raise the money, entrepreneurs sold shares of stock or certain rights of ownership. Thus, people who bought stock became part owners of these businesses, which were called corporations. A corporation is a business owned by stockholders who share in its profits but are not personally responsible for its debts. Corporations were able to raise large amounts of capital needed to invest in industrial equipment. All right, American industrialization. We've already met Eli Whitney in the first installment of our unit. Eli Whitney introduced interchangeable parts. This is a video that the link is in Google Classroom for you. Henry Ford uses the interchangeable parts system created by Whitney. In 1913, he introduced the assembly line, a line of workers each putting a single piece on unfinished cars as they passed on a moving belt. This is something that you should possibly write down and put in notes. In the 1880s, German investors used a gasoline engine to power a vehicle, the automobile. The automobile technology developed quickly, but since early cars were built by hand, they were very expensive. As fast-working machines replaced more costly human labor and enabled industrialists to mass produce, an American mechanic named Henry Ford decided to make cars that were affordable for most people. Ford used standardized, interchangeable parts, first developed by Whitney. He also built them on an assembly line, a line of workers who each put a single piece on unfinished cars as they passed on a moving belt. Germany industrializes. Because of politics in Germany, pockets of industrialization appeared, as in the coal area of the Ruhr Valley in west-central Germany. Beginning around 1835, Germany began to copy the British model. Germany imported British equipment and engineers. German manufacturers also sent their children to England to learn industrial management. Most important, Germany built railroads that linked its growing manufacturing cities, such as Frankfurt, with the Ruhr Valley's coal and iron ore deposits. Germany's economic strength spurred its ability to develop as a military power. By the late 1800s, a unified imperial Germany had become both an industrial and a military giant. Since the 1800s, people have debated whether the Industrial Revolution was a blessing or a curse. The early industrial age brought terrible hardships. Organized labor groups worked to improve conditions. Worker associations evolved into labor unions. Labor unions are meant to protect and protest for workers' rights. Factory owners would blacklist people suspected of being a union member in order to stop the spread of workers joining a union. The British Parliament even banned unions in 1800. Reformers pressed for laws to improve working conditions. Labor unions won the right to bargain with employers for better wages, hours, and working conditions. Eventually, working class men gained the right to vote, which gave them political power. Despite the social problems created by the Industrial Revolution, low payment, unemployment, dismal living conditions, the Industrial Age did bring material benefit. As demand for mass-produced goods grew, new factories opened, creating more jobs. Wages rose so that workers had enough left after paying rent and buying food to buy a newspaper or visit a music hall. As the cost of railroad travel fell, people could visit family in other towns. Horizons widened and opportunities increased. Why was Britain called the workshop of the world?